An important new financial institution that is collaborating with Ripple is the setting for this episode. What steps are we taking in regards to the Bitcoin and XRP markets? Considering yet another massive downturn for a liquidation to round off a brutal September before we get a green October, or October, as some like to refer to it, I get it. Alright, let's get straight into Bitcoin 6,000. At present, it isn't accessible. At 237 at the closing, Ethereum was down 2.28% from the day before. XRP is down 4.2% for both USDT and USDC, reaching its 99-cent pegs instead of $1, with a mean lean 57 cents. There was a small increase over the weekend of up to 60 cents. Nevertheless, as previously stated, we observed in yesterday's video that there is a lot of resistance to XRP at 60, 65, and 75 cents, and that 60 cents is a huge barrier. When you run into resistance, that's what happens, you just keep running into opposition. People, don't worry. Regarding the result of XRP, nothing has changed, we have talked about it, and the moment is near. We want to call this channel as quickly as possible, so we're just going to chop the chop zone chop city, but there's a catch. Could we revisit the Bombad's chop, which is currently sitting at 48 to 50,000? We might explore further than we have. Market valuation of cryptocurrencies, $2 trillion, and 56 billion XRP is not required if you believe that the best incentive is none at all, according to Andrew Al. He's right when he says that 99% of cryptocurrency assets offer rewards for validating transactions. It would be wiser to select these rather than attempting to alter what makes XRP special. As you can see, every single one of these other cryptocurrency businesses thinks it makes sense to give people incentives or benefits in return for their help. Says Ripple, look, that's not how we do it. We believe that anyone with an interest in technology who wants to use it to change the world, or who just wants to have an impact, will do something about it. We won't compensate you for your volunteer work because doing so will only draw bad players, inept performers, and apathetic individuals who are only interested in making money off of it. It's what sets XRP apart in this situation. But the value of XRP will depend on how much institutional demand there is for it. Everything is coming together because we have talked about the ETF on this channel and have already obtained the trust, which is the first step toward gaining the ETF. But as was already indicated, dealing with governments and banks and having financial discussions take a lot of time. It is time, after 7 years, to move on from discussing XRP as a cent or cents and instead discuss it in dollars. In my opinion, $1,357, even a double-digit XRP, will mark a turning point and the time at which we can put an end to our speculation that XRP will hit that price range. Either Bitcoin or the Federal Reserve are having a bigger and bigger impact. This week's interest rate decrease by the Federal Reserve is predicted by the research. For the first time since company, that is noteworthy because of what is causing the interest rate to drop. This actually has a good impact on the Bitcoin markets as well as the economy at large. Correct economic analysis predicts that borrowing will rise while spending will fall. Interest rates will drop for both individuals and companies, encouraging spending and investment. Consider boosting your financial commitments. Bonds and savings accounts become less appealing as interest rates rise since they will provide a lower return, which usually encourages investors to pursue riskier investments. Which cryptocurrency is appropriate in this scenario? This is particularly true in the event that new regulations are added to them, which would help to lower inflation. Interest rates have the ability to increase demand and expenditure, which could result in inflation and the expansion of central banks. You guessed it, in deflationary periods, central banks often cut interest rates to boost prices and devalue the currency. A country's currency may lose value in relation to other countries when it reduces its interest rates. Export-driven economies can currently be supported by lowering the price of imports and increasing the price of exports. Let's talk about crypto now. What advantages do cryptocurrencies offer? Because cryptocurrencies are riskier, more capital is drawn to them, which could result in returns that are higher than those of current interest rates. The economy will have more money accessible if these bank rates are lowered to CDs, treasury bonds, etc., since borrowing a portion of that capital will be less expensive. What kind of interest can flow into cryptocurrency and other alternative investments? Because traditional investments like bonds have poor rates and returns, investors are drawn to risky assets like cryptocurrency. We then discuss storage value and make the claim that Bitcoin acts as a hedge against inflation. We look into this, and we actually, given that we have been talking about the push-up in Q4 and the summer 2025 parabolic blow-off tops of numerous cryptos, this playbook appears to be a given. The Federal Reserve's announcement to lower interest rates is anticipated to boost the economy and the cryptocurrency market. It may also encourage investors to take on more risk and raise concerns about inflation, which may pique interest in the markets. Permit me to explore this subject further. They talked about building the first blockchain in history, integrating it with Ripple custody, and laying the groundwork for digital finance's future on her podcast. This smart financial blockchain, selected with attention by the Web3 community, promotes safe and authorized decentralized finance cryptocurrency. Because of our relationship to the Ripple that we are listening, and we sincerely want to find many more. Making use of any native Ripple components for the ledger will be our first goal. To be able to join Auto, that should be a great place, hopefully. Think about adding your own special viewpoint to the discussion. It's true that you are essentially saying that once RLUSD is active on the ledger, it will have the same mobility as Auto. Like any other token, tokens let you take part in financial products and services on an even playing field. Yes, this is great news, and it's a big step forward that any other token is included as well. This is the Twitter account for the automatic blockchain. Gary Gensler, if you would like to follow them, is here. It will be interesting to watch how they develop, particularly in terms of including triple custody. The entire Ripple ecosystem, especially XRP, incurred massive losses, therefore it was clear that confusion throughout this entire period was the SEC's plan, despite their abrupt admission of remorse for any mistake. Gary Gen should be found guilty by the jury. If found guilty, Gary Gen ought to pay back all of the investors' money as well as any penalty Ripple Labs may have faced. I concur that this approach leads to a lot of misunderstandings and now damages XRP investors. If XRP had never been the focus of the SEC investigation, indeed, it was never even an investigation, instead it was a straight-up litigation that proceeded for years, then we would have achieved an all-time high in 2020. Rather, we kept rising until the A190 lawsuit was made public, at which point we had a sharp drop back to 17 cents. The XRP wouldn't be between 50 and 60 cents, in my opinion. It is my fervent belief that XRP would have surged well above its current levels, up to the dollar range and maybe even higher, reaching the ultimate move or blow-off top that this bull cycle is expected to see. Reputable cryptocurrency entered the picture. Some have pointed out that we never reached the 61 to 62,000 mark, and it's true, you can see it in eState's most recent video. That was the ideal rejection zone. We are currently maintaining the range at its maximum points, as seen in the graphic below. We can either descend much lower and then climb back to 61, 62K, or the playbook doesn't end here, so picture the possible consequences. We're willing to take a chance. We would reach 48 to 50,000 if Bitcoin were to retest again at the bottom of this chop zone. This need not occur, but it might. So why am I telling you this? This is because, should that occur, you should be prepared for one more opportunity to purchase as, in my opinion, Q4 will be the period that we start to see this Bitcoin and the markets will eventually blow up when it pushes up and starts to breach that. By the end of the year, it is anticipated that the price of Bitcoin will have surpassed the $774,000 barrier, accelerated to $88,000, and beyond $100,000. Time is running out, people. Kindly send the XRP scan to me. Does anyone have this XRP? Why does this address come up when they talk about Robinhood? I vehemently disagree with Robinhood being relisted. The asset is XRP, not Ripple shares, despite the name Ripple. On the website, Robinhood relists XRP, which is often a firm listing. Robinhood will follow suit, as monitoring an asset's price on its website is the first step in promoting it. After keeping an eye on the asset's price, they open it. I firmly believe that nobody can forecast with perfect precision when XRP will be included on Robinhood in terms of buying and selling, but what does this do well? Ideally, this will happen shortly. Because it enables those who don't want to bother with seed phases and cryptocurrency wallets to buy XRP using the Robinhood app, this will let additional money to come in. A greater price will encourage more purchases. It's as easy as putting demand and liquidity together. Put simply, the amount of institutional money required to keep the price of XRP from growing is absurdly minimal.